everyone to I'd like to welcome everyone to the Daily Jump. And today I'm delighted to have with me my niece, Jenna, and her husband, Joe. And they live in Canada in a small town called Petorlia. And they have a business there called Krabby Joe's. It's a restaurant and it's a Canadian chain. If I got that right, it's just in Canada.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. And I would have to say their Krabby Joe's in Petrolia, Ontario is a real go-to spot in their community. It's always vibrant and alive. The food is always excellent. They bring in live entertainment, and they have built up and created a business that is very much at the heart of their community. And I admire you both for that. And I would have to say that your business is a real reflection of who you are as people. So I first of all just want to acknowledge that and who you are as business people.
Thanks.
You're also parents of 3 young boys.
Yes.
So that keeps you very busy. And I noticed on Facebook last night that you had made the decision to close down your business at this time, the restaurant, given what's going on with the coronavirus. So I reached out and asked if you would be interested in joining us on the Daily Jump to share what it's been like to make that decision. So what's that been like, and how did you come to that decision?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. That was very kind of you. So the decision was actually a pretty easy one once it became apparent to us that now is the time. Now is the time to act if we want to make sure that this is something that we can get ahead of. We got a call from our business coach yesterday morning, and she said, this COVID thing, it's a real thing, and what are you guys doing to deal with it? And at that point, we didn't have any strategy. As you mentioned, we are part of a franchise group, or chain group, sorry. So we were, I suppose, relying on them for a little bit of direction. But it got to the point where we thought, maybe we should just go ahead and make this decision for ourselves and our family, our staff, and our community, because to really get ahead of this, we need to exhibit some serious leadership qualities. And leadership isn't always something that doesn't mean that you get to make the most exciting and most popular decision, the easy decision. Usually it means that you have to make the harder decision. And as you mentioned, we're in a town of 5,500 people. It's a small community, and our restaurant's one of the biggest ones in town, the biggest one in town. We wanted to show the other community members that we care, and that setting the example to take people's importance of health first, that was like the thing to do.
Everything she said, except for we're probably like 6,000 people now. Like Petrolia is growing, and it's pretty awesome. And the community is, that's ingrained in us and everything we do, that word community. And it was Mary Lou. She called us. She's our girl. She's awesome. And she texted me. She's like, "What are you doing about?" Because I have a business too. I have a photography business, so that's all integrated in this. And we're doing a few other things that just is, it's all going to be impacted. Every single thing is, but it's on a global level to a point where there's literally nothing you can do about it except for the proper things that professionals are telling you to do. And it's pretty simple. And if you can just find it, the internet's not down. We can still stream Netflix. You can still do a ton of things that are entertaining you. So it's not like your world's crashing. People get surgeries and they're laid up for weeks at a time. This is not like a disaster, but it can absolutely easily be a disaster if us in Canada and where we're at. So it was an easy. It was lunch. It's a slow time on Monday, and you just pull it was easy to shut the door, and we had to do it. And then our management team's awesome. They were able to help out and we just did it all together and came together, and we're a team. And it all stemmed from positivity. It's just you can't
Yeah.
It's nothing else but it.
Basically, if we aren't comfortable being out in public and exposing ourselves to others, because we don't know the risk factor, we don't know where everybody's come from, we don't know those things.
Yeah.
Here in Ontario, we our government actually just declared a state of emergency and mandated last night, after we made the announcement that we were going to close our doors to the public. They mandated that it was something that had to happen. We were still able to do delivery and takeout service, but we just thought, if it's something that we're not willing to do, how could we possibly ask our staff to do something we're not willing to do?
We did it last night for a dinner rush, and we got 5 orders, and we had it was just like, it was orders out the door, and like that's not where we're at.
No, we want to. Yeah, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, more money can always be made, but what we can't do is change. Like, if we let this go and don't take matters into our own hands, the result could be disastrous. So we did.
Yes.
It was an easy decision. Got to be responsible.
Yes. Well, I still applaud you for your leadership.
Thanks.
And the type of leadership that you're showing. I just want to, I know you're saying it's an easy decision, but also, I also know you didn't take it lightly. So I just want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
So now that you've made that decision, and you're taking time together as a family, and you're both, so as I mentioned to you before we started recording, our theme for the beginning of this Daily Jump project that my family's embarked upon is stay positive no matter what. And that's something that jumped out to me in your message that you put on FaceTime too, was, and even you're using the word positive as well. So as two very positive people, and reflective people, what are you seeing as the opportunities, not necessarily just business-wise, but just in general from this situation?
I got lots. So
yeah, I think this is a really fantastic time for people to be able to be more self-reflective. Understanding that what's going to happen is going to happen. We can play our part, and we should be playing our part for humanity. And I'm actually loving this process, other than the obvious. Yeah, it's really been serious for a lot of people and a lot of families. So I'm certainly not making light of it. Here, in our province, we only have 400 confirmed cases. We have 1 death. It hasn't arrived the way that it's arrived in so many other areas of the world. As a result of these types of measures. So, we're finding that people are a little they're a little unsure about the decision, because we probably closed a little earlier than everybody else did. But as you're asking, what other impacts are you seeing? What this is doing is allowing people to feel confident in their decision to stay home. We say to our employees, you know what, guys, we're not asking you to come out. We're asking you to stay home, and we're asking you to be with your families, be with yourselves. Spend some time there, because it's not a place that we often. Hi, Indra. It's not a place that we often like to spend a lot of time.
Speaking of spending time with family.
Yeah, exactly. Like our wee ones are just sleeping right now.
The dog's just scratching at the door.
Whatever. So spending some more time with ourselves and family, and really focusing on that instead of the other things that we're missing out, and all of those other distractions that are out there that are fleeting. As I was saying, leadership makes you make that uncomfortable decision sometimes, and leaning into that discomfort and finding new elements of yourself, I think, is pretty fantastic. So what an opportunity this is, if we can look at it that way and choose to react to this situation that way in a positive manner.
Yeah. A real simplification of life.
Really, because ultimately that's like, this is life. Right. Like, ultimately, that's what this is, and we're going through something so unique, and this is the first time that this has happened to our generation of people, and I'm for one, I'm so proud of the way that our government and our country is banding together to be preventative to the spread of the virus. I think it's just fantastic, and I'm proud that we were able to do the same thing, because it came from a place that just felt right, and yes, there will be a huge economic impact. There's no question, right? We still are going to pay our employees a certain amount. We have fridges and freezers full of food. They're open for our employees. Like right now, it's like a bit of a grocery store over there, because we got these things. We're going to be closed for weeks, likely. So it's really opening up this beautiful side of things where we can, out of necessity, approach people in a much different way than we were typically able to do. That employer-employee relationship is different. We're here as a community together, getting through it together, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, I've had, similar. I just, my experiences, it's just been bringing out the positive in people. Mm-hmm. Indra and I walked the dog this morning, and walking down the street in our very urban neighborhood, and an elderly man starts yelling at us. And at first I was like, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Do you have milk?" And I said, "No, we don't, because we drink almond milk." He said, "I saw you had a young one, and all the stores are out of milk. And I just wanted to tell you that the local organic store has milk."
Oh, wow.
Because they use a local farm. They have a local supplier.
Yeah. So
he was concerned and wanting to, through his social media, which was going out and going for a walk down the street.
Social distancing from across the road.
I just found it was the sweetest, most touching thing that he would take the time to give us that information. Yeah. And that's not contact that we would normally have with people. I've just been, I had lots of little things like that where people are acting differently overnight.
Lots of love.
Overnight.
Universal love. It's all it's about. Just spread universal love.
Yeah.
Whatever way you can.
Yeah.
Always.
So how about you, Joe? Jenna said her 2 cents.
I agree with everything she said. As long as you have no further follow-up questions, I agree with everything she said. No, it is. It's a combination of all that stuff, and just be like, you can go down the 2 different paths, and you can go down 2 different paths many different times, and you can, and something like this, like even the professionals that are on it, and like the things that are happening, like they're going to get things are going to get mistaken, and things are going to get, overlooked, and then they're not going to get it right. And then they'll look back on this in the future, and like, there'll be this type of thing is not new. So, I mean, it's the experience of it, and having the uniqueness of having this, us in our time going through this is, it's a cool experience. I'm like thankful for that. I'm like, well, think about how cool this is. I'm saying that to them. I know it's crazy, and I know there's a lot of negative, but like, if I can slip into like positive mindsets, I'm like, man, how cool this is. If you can, like, I mean, living in the now, sure, like, get this milk out of here before it spoils, but also like, this is like, we're in a pandemic. This is wild. Like, as long as we like are responsible and not like, I'm not like, sugarcoating it or anything like that, but it's just, there's all different sides of it, and that's my positivity to be able to. I'm out of here. Like, we're going. Like, we're getting that guy. Like, we're going to the cottage. I don't know when I'm coming back, and I'm super pumped for that, because I've been like thinking to myself a lot of times, being like, if just that time, if I like need knee surgery, or like I get stranded in the Sahara Desert, I'll be able to like sit down and edit all my photos. I like have like stockpiles of them. Now I can do that. Now we can like take time to do these things, and I'm gonna teach the boys how to whittle, and like we wouldn't have done that. I would have been busy, and I would have done another project and another project, and like, tried to run this business and had grabbed like all this stuff, but now it's just like not like,
ground to a halt.
there's construction out front, so business is going to be slowed down. So try to think of alternate ways to boost. It's literally like, no, don't show up here because we don't want this, and we need to like do our part to be like, see you later, everybody. You know, set the example, and now we'll see what we'll reassess as that, because what was news 2 hours ago, breaking news, is not news now. So it's like we gotta just, you know, I don't want a radio on. I just want to like escape it as much as we can, and know that it'll be okay, because it's all gonna be okay.
It's all gonna be okay. It all is okay. Like it already is.
And that's the motto in Italy right now. It's all gonna be fine. It's all going to be okay. Tutte bieno, something like that. My Italian's not great. And that's it. I mean, everything is going to be fine. Things are going to be different, but I believe there's a lot of creativity that's coming forth in people, and it'll be interesting to see what evolves as a result of all this. So I just want to thank both of you for taking this time, this precious time, while your little one is sleeping and your little ones are out the door. I wish you all the best as you find your path forward, both as a family and as business owners. And I just want to thank you very much for joining me today on the Daily Jump.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.